Hey everybody, it's Skip. Welcome back to more Lenna's Inception speedrunning, and I wanted to just kind of do a different category. This is what's called the Catastrophe Ending. The last one that I did was the Sacrifice Ending. The Sacrifice Ending is the ending that you would see if you're actually playing through the game for the first time. It's more than likely the one that you're going to see. It's actually the one that the game kind of filters you through first if you kind of play games the way that the game is leading you to be played. The Catastrophe Ending is where you kind of skip a lot of it and it kind of gets to a shrug shoulders what happens next ending. It's not really one that you would naturally fall into unless you happen to be playing back through and basically you forget a boss. The conditions for this are just get through the final boss. You don't have to beat any of the dungeons themselves, other than you just have to get to the actual palace. You have to actually then beat the Gammon and Damien. That's pretty much it. The game shrugs its shoulders. It's like, well, what's next? And it's game over. So that's that one. It's significantly faster. For the speedrun itself, there are significant skips that can actually be done in the speedrun itself that make it interesting. I'm not doing many of those because it actually involves a lot of resetting and finding specific tech and specific layouts where you can figure out to actually skip a dungeon or two, because there's the way the game is built in the random generation, you can only get to the next dungeon you're supposed to get to. You can't get to the dungeons out of order using the intended method. And by the intended method, I mean that when you go to, let's say in Dungeon 2, you pick up the lighter. Well, then Dungeon 3 will be gated by having something that you need to burn, like a frost icicle or something like that in order to get into the next dungeon. And then in that dungeon, let's say in Dungeon 2, then you pick up maybe the ability to swim, and so therefore you can have water. And so if you progress along using the kind of intended route, you have to go through each of the dungeons to pick up the actual items that it gives you. Now, that said, there are ways of getting around this. For example, once you get the lighter and the ability to jump, you can actually do what's called a ledge jump. You can jump down or across a ledge. It's a little bit of a finicky trick. It involves 3 precise jumps where you are jumping at the very height of your dash with the lighter. You do that a few times. You can skip a ledge, which means you can kind of sequence break a little bit. You can skip some specific items that you don't need. Now, you can't get to a hammer without a bomb, so it's not like you can use the hammer to get to the bomb. There is a lot of smart way that the game is built that, again, just using things the way that they're intended, you're never going to be able to actually kind of skip around. But doing some non-intended strats, you can do that. There's also a way that you can use things like fire tunics to actually get through ice, because they'll burn through. Henrietta as well. The chicken, if you find the phoenix ash egg thing that you feed to Henrietta, she becomes a fire bird. She'll then follow you around, and she can actually be used to burn your path. So there's ways that you can get around finding specific items depending upon your seed. This is actually most notably used in the Catastrophe Ending seeded speedrun, where someone actually went through, grinded through, found the seed that would work well to do a significant amount of sequence breaking and hopping over ledges and using potions and tunics as opposed to the items themselves. Is actually really impressive. I'll link to that video below. But this one will look very, very similar to the beginning of the Sacrifice Ending that I played through. The main difference is I'm not going to back. Main by that I mean really the only difference is I'm not going to be going back and actually fighting any of the bosses themselves. I'm just going to be fighting the final bosses. This room in particular, though, gave me a little bit of trouble because these guys, I was down to a half a heart. They both explode and shoot arrows, so I had to not take explosion damage, nor get hit by their arrows. But I did look for a seed where I got a lighter early on. In fact, in this one, as you can see, I got the lighter second so that I could actually go through quickly. For doing speedruns, it's actually significantly important to make sure you're getting movement tech that gets you around quickly, rather, sooner rather than later. You want the ability to have the lighter as quickly as possible is one of the most important items. Now I'm trying to figure out a way through here, trying to follow the path to see if I'm finding my way over to where I need to go. and I am here. It's a little bit tricky. One thing that I have found with speedrunning is there are these paths, and specifically on the west side of the map, so when you're going through the first 4 dungeons, the paths do take you on an intended route into and between the dungeons. Now, they can get a little bit crisscrossy, but generally speaking, if you're faced with if you're on a path and you're trying to get to the next dungeon, and you can go up or right, and the path goes right, you know what? Follow the path. It's more often than not going to be the right way to go. And so learning that and doing a little bit of pathing here, I was able to find my way over to this next dungeon, getting better at the button puzzles, even though I'm getting kind of mauled while I'm doing them. But that's okay. Just stay away. I'm trying to get them to stay away from me so I can actually push these buttons. There we go. Just get through the dungeon. My goodness. But other than that, so what you'll see is I'll be going through as I had done before, where what I'm doing in the 8 dungeons is going through and actually trying to find the glitched boss thing, mini boss, and then get the item itself and then get out. I won't be going back at all to the first, specifically dungeons 1, 2, or 3, as my goal in there is to just get the item and get out. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, there's a possibility that I have to go back because we need that revolver for the final boss. Now, obviously you can just fight the final boss themselves as well, but you'll lose significant amount of time. Now, if you spend too much time searching around for the item, the revolver, and not finding it, you're going to end up resetting anyways. But if you're trying to do just like a safety run or something like that, and you're just trying to go with whatever time that you have, or you're on a really great pace and you just want to spend the extra 4 minutes fighting the boss, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but suppose you specifically could. Then you could. You don't necessarily have to go and find the revolver. I'd highly recommend it. And here, as you can see, I just picked up the swim boots, and so it's actually required me to go through water. The swim boots. They're snorkeling fins or something like that. Or water shoes or something like that. But it's requiring me to go through water. If you can't go through water, you really can't get to the bank in this seed. So the game does a really good job of making sure that you're using the items that you've just picked up to get to the next area, which is actually one which you can help in the pathing, because if you're making sure that you are following the path that's using either the item or the ability you just picked up, you're going to find the best way over to the next dungeon. But 6.5 minutes in, we're into the bank, or the guild, LLC, whatever you want to call it. And I'm trying to figure out now how I can actually get in and get out. And it's a little bit tricky because the main problem with Dungeon 4 is that you do not start off in the entrance, meaning once you find the item, you can't just easily warp back out again. You have to make your way to the entrance to do that. So I was thinking about going down and actually opening up the entrance, but I saw I had to go through a locked room to do so, and so I said, never mind, let's ignore that. I don't know why I decided to fight that spider a little bit, but it looks like I'm probably just going to have to end up fighting fighting my way through that locked room so that I can go ahead and get the entrance open. Look, there's really no other option to that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to go down. I have to find my way through these lobsters and just open up that entrance so that I can warp out once I'm actually done. Otherwise, it's usually a longer slog through trying to get back to the entrance once you're done. But there we go. I've opened up the entrance. So now we can go back, bicycle back, and actually find our way to the item room, wherever the heck that's going to be. It is level 4, so there's a possibility I'm going to need a blue key, but otherwise I'm going to try as much as possible just to skip through item rooms or drop rooms that don't have the glitched boss in it. Like here, we found him, so that's really good. We can fight him, and since we already found the other exit, we can go ahead and go right on. Now, this is a really nicely done room because I only had one enemy to fight there. I pick up the bow, and we're out. Didn't find the secret room in here, but again, we'll come back with the glasses at the end if we haven't lucked our way into it, and actually try to find the revolver. But we're out of the bank, hopefully over to the bridge in respectable time, so it's sub 10 minutes. And that's always from where I'm at right now with my speed running. Getting to the bridge before, or all the way across the bridge before 10 minutes is up is always a pretty good sign that I'm on a good path. Now, I am guessing that I'm on the right path because I mapped my way back to a previous dungeon, but then I discovered, look, there were those targets because I just picked up the bow and arrow, so I guess that's probably the way the game is wanting me to go. So using the things around you as sort of a hint about where you're supposed to be going is, it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Not a bad way of going about things. This conversation is really long. I'm not great at mashing, but I get through it respectably. I think I probably lose 5, 6, 7 seconds over the person who does world record times, but I'm not really at the point where I'm losing a run by 5 or 6 seconds yet. Hopefully I plan to be there at that point at some point where 5 or 6 seconds actually means a lot and makes a significant difference to my run. One thing I'm also looking for is trying to find Hammy's house because I'd really like to have a hammer. I don't have bombs yet, so even if I found Hammy's house, I couldn't open it up. But once you find it, it will mark it on the map so I can make sure to go back to it. Haven't found it yet, but it's definitely something that I'm going to want to try to take note of. So now I have to fight these smiley spiders because this is a locked room. I got nowhere else to go, and I know I have to go through this room. So I might as well take care of them now and continue on our way. Non-locked room, but I can just go through. Decided to dash a little bit later than I probably should have, but that's okay. Another locked room. Non-explodey snails, that's all good. Try to group them up here without taking poison damage. And I didn't really do too good with grouping them up, but that's okay. And I went to the wrong direction. I'm always going the wrong, it's really hard to know which is the right direction, but I got a really quick find here. So very happy with that, even though he's hitting me with quite a few attacks. I was already low on health to begin with, so I was trying to be careful with how I was doing. But in the end, I'm having to just play it super, super careful here. Fortunately, these guys don't explode. I just got to make sure I'm not walking through any poison. I'm not getting sniped by any of the skeleton archers who are down in the bottom left-hand corner of the map at this point. So now we're just trying to make sure nobody's trying to snipe me with an arrow. I'm just going to take out this snail, go out and try and take out another one. Maybe I'll go through and actually take out the skeleton archer, but I'm dodging an arrow there. This is pretty difficult, but fortunately I see him lining up. I can just bop him right into the pit, and off we go. Not too bad, actually. I didn't have to worry about finding any keys and stuff like that, so Dungeon 5 was pretty fast, and it's looking like I'm going to be able to get over pretty quickly to the next dungeon, but I don't have jump yet, or I do have jump, I should say. I just missed my jump, and so now I'm able to get over to the next thing. But see, the problem is I don't have the ability to pick up anything, so I'm really trying to figure out what's the best way to get over. It's right over here. I'm going to pick up money because I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to go back and try and pick up a tunic later, and I might do that after this dungeon. I don't remember if I actually do. I had the thought at the time of going, let's grab that extra money sitting on the ground so that I can go back and see if I can maybe pick up a speed tunic. I mean, it's pretty late in the game, but even going through level 7 and level 8, which are definitely the longest and most difficult to walk through, you end up potentially doing a lot of backtracking, sometimes not being able to dash too well. Having a speed tunic is still valuable even at this stage of the game. Worth checking on, seeing if we can get one. I'm not a huge fan of these guys, but I am using a trick where I'm trying to use fire and use arrows when they're across the room to try and get them to teleport closer to me. I'm not going to do a ton of damage with that, but I am hopefully going to do enough, a little bit of damage, as well as sending them to the other side of the room. I am noticing I need a blue key. I'm probably definitely going to have to pick up a blue key, and I'm hoping it's actually in this room and not a meteor. Good chance because I'm next to a blue key room. Often that means I'm going to actually pick one up. So I'm kind of gambling on that right now. This is a pretty busy room, but I really didn't have anywhere else to go. I didn't want to spend time backtracking only to come back to this room again. So I'm just really hoping it's not a meteor at this point, though, is the only thing I'm looking for. It is the blue key, so we did luck out on that one. I know I can go back. I think there was a blue key in the previous room here, and so I'm going to go ahead and follow that up from this room. There's always a little bit of anticipation as you walk into a new room. It's like, will this be the room? Will this be the room? Oh, it's not the room. But then it's a matter of, can I go through this room? Is this room locked? Does this room have another type of an item? Here we did actually end up finding it. Got a pretty clean fight against the glitched mini boss, and then we got a crab dude who's just cornering himself. I can just hold my sword out or just keep slashing him. He will technically dodge, hence why it's super annoying and why I really want to find that hammer once I actually get bombs opened up. I don't have bombs yet, so that makes it a little bit difficult. However, I don't think the next area is that far away because I can kind of come up here to the left, again following the trail of items that I've just picked up, taking a lot of damage from that snowman because reasons. See, there I am noticing, hey, there is the hut Hammy's hut that I can come back to once I do pick up bombs. Definitely want to go pick up that hammer to make the rest of the run easier. I am starting to get a little bit better at reading rooms, at least from a boss perspective. Trying to understand where the item room is going to be is really difficult, though, because that's not really specific. That's not something that's going to be an exact science. I need to be really careful here as I'm down to the no hearts portion. But I was able to get that guy taken out, even though he was exploding at me the whole time. Now, I do have an item room. My guess is I'm probably going to need this for the sake of a key. Go ahead and grab some of these skulls. I don't know why I'm swiping them with my sword. But I do want to, I'm going to, at this point, since I've only got 3 enemies left, we're going to go ahead and check to see if this is an item room or a media room. I'm hoping it's a blue key room, which it is, because I can go right through this door, even though that leads me absolutely nowhere. So we're going to bicycle back to the beginning, go down a different path. Because now I have the blue key. I do have a blue key I can go through right there. So now I have a much better feeling as we've got a blue key that we opened up. I don't need that item. We're going to skip right on through this item room onto the next one. As this is sitting right on a green door, I'm hoping this is a green key to help me continue, because I couldn't remember if there was another room that I'd come to, or if I did another dead end I would have to go down. But at this point, I really wish I could have my hammer. This is the reason why I might, for future runs, actually take a look to make sure that I get bombs earlier on. Because you can't, even if you find Hammy's house, as I have, until you pick up bombs, you can't pick up the hammer. And the hammer is super critical to going fast later on in the run. I got a branching path here, choosing to check down. We're going to go ahead and now check right off of this door. Could be a complete dead end, and I should not have gone into this room. I just realized that. Question is, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and unlock this room and go through. Maybe I'll have lucked out. But I was wanting to back up so that I could potentially see if there was another non-locked room, especially with dealing with these dodge crabs is difficult. But my misfortune misplay actually worked out in my favor, as that was actually the place I wanted to go down. The only difficult is I've got these kind of enchanted or strengthened up or buffed up guys. They got a lot of HP. And since they dodge anyways, it just takes so many swipes to kill them with your sword, because half of them they're going to be missing anyways. So it's just such a difficult thing, and why I go, come on. I really wish bombs had been earlier. I'd be able to take these guys out so much faster. I don't know if maybe I mentioned it, but those crabs can't dodge a hammer. They can dodge a sword, but not a hammer. I don't know why. If you can dodge a hammer, you can dodge a sword. I don't know what it is. But we do get bombs, which means if I'm smart about it after we leave, we're going to go over to Hammy's house and real quick pick up the hammer. And I'm trying to remember where Hammy's house is. It's just over here to the left of where we're at right now. So we're just going to walk right over there. And we're going to bomb and go right on in and get ourselves a hammer. So now we can go much faster in the next dungeon, as well as then we're in the palace. We got to take out some spiders. Hammer is just a much better way to go. All right. Not exactly sure the best route that I'm going to want to take. I'm going to take a little bit of a gamble going back to the bridge in hopes that maybe I can use the route out from the bridge to find myself the right way to go. Now I am seeing some rocks down there. There's a possibility that that's the way that I'm wanting to go. I'm going to go ahead and check down here. Trying to use the lighter, trying to set the rocks on fire for whatever reason, hitting the wrong button. But I'm hopeful, and sure enough, I did find the right way to go, and we are in to go and find the 8th dungeon to find Maxwell here before 19 minutes. Well, we should be at Maxwell before 19 minutes. Trying to go on down here. use the hammer a couple times. I'm going to go ahead and get myself poisoned. Not enough time to worry about not getting poisoned. I'm not going to die right here. I can pick up a couple hearts after I kill this spider if I need to. And as many times as I've done this puzzle, this button puzzle is always the same. I tend to mess it up way too often. I don't know why, but I just do. Also, I'm not sure why we watch Professor Maxwell walk away when we could just, follow him, but whatever. It's just the way things go. I'm not sure if you need to stop on that or if you need to... I don't know. But I did discover if you swing your sword or swing your hammer on your way down, it will kind of glitch out and you'll walk around with your sword or your hammer actually able to attack while you're just standing there. Now there's a blue key door right in the very first room. If I'm smart about it, which I don't think I was, I'll remember once I pick up the blue key to go back to the starting point. But I think I also got excited about the fact that there's actually a blue key right here by where I'm picking it up. Now there is a tech that I found with those little skeleton guys who dash at you, which is that you want to shoot a fire at them, which will stun them, and they'll put their swords down so that you can actually attack them without them attacking you first, which, especially on this type of a run where you don't have any hearts really at this point, just have the 3 that you started with, being able to have them not hit you every time they walk up to you is really nice. Like I said, I had kind of forgotten that there was a blue key door down at the beginning. That's really the better path that I would want to take. I got another blue door here. So this is actually really hopeful that this is going to be a nice dungeon. From a layout perspective, I'm going to take the long way around to avoid that guy charging at me. And then we're going to see, if you hit him with fire, he kind of does a little bit of a dance where he doesn't quite come at you right away. And now these guys, I'm hoping I can just bop them right into some water, not take too much damage. There we did. We're going to pick up the glasses, and I'm going to use this opportunity because I haven't quite yet found the exit to actually search around to see if I can find the item room as well, because I do need to find that revolver so I can try and get the quick kill on the last boss, but I don't want to spend too much time wandering around, but it's worth doing since I haven't found the exit anyways yet. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can find it here. I'm just going to go all the way across on this line just to see if we can luck into it, and then I'm probably going to work and find my way out. All right, I've got a little bit of better way of taking a different line. So I think we're going to go ahead and work our way down now and over to the edge just to see if we can find it. I'm not having real good luck right now. Usually I'm going to want to start, if I'm hunting around for the item, to actually start in one of the smaller dungeons. Go to dungeon 4, 5, and 6 first. Dungeon 7 and dungeon 8 are just so big that you end up spending so much of your time wandering around, especially if you don't have a map. But I did find the room pretty quickly. It unfortunately is not the item that we're looking for, but now I just got to find the exit. I think I need to go up one. I'm going to go all the way across on the bottom row here, I believe, before I go up and check for the exit. There is the exit, so I'm actually going to go back left and then bicycle into the entrance itself. Trying to get lined up can be sometimes a bit of a pain. So we're going to go ahead and find, I think we're going to go ahead and find the palace so we can easily get to there later, which is just 1 to our left. So we got to figure out if there's a quick way we can get over to it. And there actually is, because I can just take my way through this area and just use the glasses to get into the palace. Just got to make sure I'm not blocked by the castle when I come in there. I want to be off to the side a little bit. Use the glasses, we'll hop into the pool. So now that we've gotten through the palace, we've just got that marked on our map, so we're going to come back to that later. For now, we're going to go back to 5, 6, and 7, see if we can't find the revolver. Now, why I started in 7, I don't really know. 7 being a little bit bigger, a little bit harder to find, but I do know that I've got a good portion of this map already figured out. So it should be just a matter of actually going through and trying to find it. So I'm going to walk around the edges of the entrance, then I'm going to walk around the left and right side, top and bottom, etc. I'm using kind of a corner trick here to be able to search multiple rooms at once, but really not finding anything at this point. I lucked out that that was not a boss room. That tended to be one that auto started, auto played the boss animation when I went in there. I would have lost even more time than I had before. I don't know why I checked left there. I had already found that square. This is just me just bumbling around quite a bit. I'm thinking it might be in the center rooms here, so I'm going to go over and check over there. It's not, so I've got a couple over to the other side I want to check as well. Looks like first I'm going to be checking the edges here. I'm definitely a little bit lost, but definitely not sure I'm going to be able to find this item room. I found the item room, and I spent so much time. Again, I should not have gone to level 7 first. A little bit of time loss. But that's how things go. We're going to go to level 5. Hopefully, on level 5, a little bit smaller. So hopefully we can get a little bit better layout as far as finding it. Now, I don't want to go all the way up, as that would be where probably the boss is going to be. So we're going to instead do a little bit of hunting and pecking around here on the outsides, around the perimeter, see if we can't find it. And we walked right into it, and there's the revolver. Wish I'd started it in 5 to begin with. Would have saved me a couple minutes of time actually going through level 7 first. But now we can go back to the palace that, again, we've already unlocked. I had an issue with my controller there where it wasn't letting me push down. So I had to start over again with that. But let's see how quickly I can do this. I've been getting better at actually doing this palace walkthrough. A couple screens over, a couple screens up. You then warp your way into the other side and wrap, and then grab the key, go back the other side, wrap around again. Then I'm going to dash over here, open the door. Then we're going to dash after we go up to the left, get back centered so we can use our glasses to get back over there. Go in here. We do have the hammer now, so we can quickly open this room. Hammer makes that so much nicer instead of having to wait for a bomb or a bomb throw or something like that. But getting this spider wrapping up, getting the other spider gets a quick hit on me because he's a jerk. I'm going to grab that heart for a little bit of insurance. Going to jump on over here and walk back down. I'm going to kill this last spider to open up the blockade in that room so I can walk through it later. I accidentally wrapped the screen to the left. I didn't want to do that, was not trying to do that. But that's okay. That's okay. So now we're going to go up and over and wait for the screen wrap to finish. And yeah, fairly clean. Just had one extra screen wrap that I didn't need to have. Just an accidental walk to the left. But that happens. That happens. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab the key just for safety in case I do die. At least then I can come back. Because I'm noticing I'm on pretty good pace. So I want to get a PB out of this no matter what. And so that way, in case I do, say, die to these guys, then I can still come back without having to worry about anything. Or let's say I mess up the Gammon Fight, then that's also not a concern. All right, into the Gammon Fight now. There is a tech that I have learned. You don't just walk into Gammon here. You actually saw me do it on the first time. Is there is a jump that you make. If you make the jump pretty close and try to hit his face right at the peak of your jump, right as he turns red, as you'll see, I got bounced back, but I'm not actually taking any damage. I did it twice in a row. I'm not great at it yet. But that is one piece of tech that I figured out, so I can actually, in both this run, Catastrophe run, and in the perfect run where you don't have much health, is a way that you can make sure that you're actually able to get that done. Now, I did jump at him too fast, so he did start his bull rush fight, which is not ideal. So I both took damage, and I lost some time there, but that's okay. Make sure I swipe him, and make sure he turns red before I jump at him. At that time, I was a little bit nervous, so I just kind of walked into him. Again, still have 2 more hearts to go, just 2 more hits, so even if I completely just walk into him or mess up, otherwise I should be just fine. All right, we got 1 hit to go once he turns red, and I messed that one up as well. So I'm not as great at it. There's also a way that you can kind of quick volley this back and forth by standing close to him and kind of spamming your sword in a specific cadence. I'm about 25% capable of being able to do that. But we're going to go ahead and equip our revolver. I'm going to get nice and close so I can try and pick up everything as quick as possible. I want to pick up the power first so everything kind of comes towards me. And now it's just a matter of mashing as soon as the dialogue, which will not be as long as the sacrifice ending. Once Delvin here goes through, says a couple words, we're going to fire off our revolver for the one-hit KO. And boom, there we go. That's it. And then we just have to collect his heart, say, now what? And then that's the run. So we're coming up on time. There we go right there. 28:26, the catastrophe ending. And that's pretty much it. Just goes right to credits. No additional anything. This is sort of the you messed up somewhere along the way. I'm going to end the game for you, but you might want to go back and redo a couple things. Because actually at this point, we could actually go down either the perfect or the sacrifice route. But anyways, that's the video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. And I will be doing more Lenna's Inception speedruns on my stream over on Twitch. But we'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.